And it's time now for a motion to adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
And welcome to Motion to Adjourn. And today we are joined by the guests, Talina Murphy and Antoine Lugo. And we will be informed about the St. David's Islander Native community. And to me, this is an extreme and awesome learning experience. So, I just want to turn it over to you guys to just give us a overview of, the foundation of this organization that you represent and a bit of history on it.
Hi. Well, let me just say, I'm Talina Murphy. I'm the chairman of the St. David's Islander Native community. Yes. And Antoine is our assistant treasurer. So he is here with me. He's also my brother, by the way.
Oh!
So I'm happy to have him here with me today. So just to say, your question was give you an overview or history?
Just the history and foundation.
So basically, I want to say that it started with interest. So a lot of St. David's Islanders had curiosity about their background. They knew they had Native heritage from the past through oral tradition and traditional ways that they had, but they didn't have documentation or the truth. Like no one had the history in terms of how they actually got there. So people did their own research. And by that, for example, my mother was one of them who went to the archives and looked at documents in terms of how natives were brought to Bermuda's shores. Mm-hmm. Also, her interest was piqued from looking at a television show, I think it was 60 Minutes, where one of the natives overseas was talking about how natives were captured during King Philip's War in the East Coast, and similar to how slavery happened, they would take some of the natives, other than killing them, they would disseminate them through the southern states and into the Caribbean. And Bermuda was one of those places that some of the natives were taken. And the ship records would document that, but it wouldn't say, oh, these natives came from Connecticut or Massachusetts or anything like that. But the ships came from that general area, but we don't know exactly where the natives came from. But those are things that have happened in the U.S. history in terms of how natives were disseminated and brought to different places, and how Bermuda happened to get natives as well. So that's kind of how it started, with a curiosity. And I can't say that my mother was the only one. There were other, like I said, islanders who were doing their own research and eventually came up with, okay, it looks like it's the Connecticut area, right? So my mom had went to a cousin of hers, my Aunt Dora Hollis, who was also doing research, and was saying like she wanted to go and see, maybe figure out how she can learn more. And my cousin was unable to go, so she suggested that her son go, Stuart Hollis. He's a cousin. And so my uncle Stuart, as I call him, and my mom went. And they went to the area where they were walking along a road. They were trying to get to Foxwood, which is a reservation for the Pequot tribe. And they didn't realize how long of a road it was. It was like a long highway in the middle of nowhere. And so a truck had was coming up on them, and realized, why are these people walking in the middle of nowhere? So the gentleman, pulled over and asked if he could help them. And so he offered them a ride when they told him where they were going, and they just started talking. And so when they shared where they were from and how they were researching the history, he said, my dad is doing that. My dad is also someone who's been researching the history of our lost people.
Wow.
And he, I think you should meet him. And so that's how the reconnection started, by David Whedon is his name, the son of Everett Tall Oak Whedon. He introduced them, and began the conversation of bringing people, well, mostly down to talk to St. David's Islanders. A series of meetings happened for those who were curious to start talking about how they were looking for us and we were looking for them, kind of thing. And so the discussions turned into a committee who wanted to have a festival, as they called it originally, to bring the different tribes down together, which was Pequot and Wampanoag. And it was quite a few delegates who had come to the initial festival. And like I said, the committee was quite large back then, and they chose Brinky Tucker to be the chairman of the committee at the time. And I was present for the first festival. I wasn't part of the committee. I was just home from school, and it was an electric sort of event. That's my perspective. I felt like people looked familiar. They looked like us, so to speak. The features, the mannerisms, you could feel like they were family. And they said the same thing to us. It was just a warm sort of gathering that we have continued since then. That was in 2002. And it's 20 years this year from the first reconnection. So, Antoine, I don't know if you want to add anything from the first festival. Do you recall?
Well, for the first festival was a very interesting festival because it was the first time that Toluca came, and he had done some more research by going to the archives and with my mother Christina Lugo to go to the archives and look up how many natives that came here and what ship. They looked at ship logs, and they made some reconnections through some families, Mr. Watson, and some other families in Bermuda made connections, direct connections to the Pequots as well. And so from there, it was a good thing. I was interested in the dancing because Anawan Whedon came down, a tall native fellow, Pequot. And he came down, and I was like, wow, this guy, he's got some energy in his step. And I felt it. I felt the drum beat. I felt everything. So I wanted to be a part of it. And he was teaching me some dance steps, and I was just going along with it. And then by the time the next festival had came along, I had crafted up my own regalia, and I was more involved. And I started learning, and I went to a powwow there, Skamitsin, Pequot powwow, and I was allowed to dance in the circle with all the other natives. It was about thousands of natives there, and it was a very, very good feeling. It felt like I was him, Everybody was accepting to me. They welcomed me. The one chief came up to me and said, hey, which tribe are you from? You're Pequot, right? I said, well, I think so, That's what I'm a descendant of Jacob Miners, and he's been known to be a Pequot. And yeah, he was like, well, I feel like you got good positive energy, and keep it up, because a lot of natives today don't really dance, they don't sing, they don't do anything, because they're more, I would say, not materialistic, but they're more to the world, like they don't practice the culture anymore. He said the little bit of blood that you got in you is more than the blood that's you ever needed to be a native, because y'all here doing this, you're reconnected, you're dancing, you got the correct dance moves. I placed, what was it, 3rd place, I believe, out of like 60 natives, because they have a competition and everything.
Wow.
So that was a good feeling. I got some more regalia made up from Mother Bear. She was a Wampanoag. She calls me her top model. So after she made my new regalia and I participated again, I came second, so which was a good, situation for me, because this is not something I'd never done before, and it's not something I practice every day. And for me to get it done that fast and that quick, it was a lot of people recognized me. So when the Gumbears went up, the Gumbears came up to the powwow, to the Pequot powwow as well.
Warwick
Gumbears, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And some of the steps were very similar to the steps that the natives use. The smoke dance, It's very similar to, I don't know if you remember seeing the Gumbians do the fast feet when they're moving their feet fast. It's a very similar step. So they drew correlation with that and pieced it all together. But yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a positive vibe. And the main thing was my mother really wanted people to know their heritage, not just native, wherever you're from, so you can be grounded to who you are, because you don't know who you are if you don't know where you come from.
Good point. Yeah. I just want to say that originally we were not called the St. David's Islander and Native Community. We were the St. David's Island Indian Committee, so to speak.
Yes.
And we broadened our name to the St. David's Islander and Native Community because we recognized that there were natives not just in St. David's, there were natives throughout the island, you know? And so we want to be able to embrace people who identify with native culture. And it's not just from, say, Pequot, or you have to be, you know, from Mashpee or wherever. You could be Taino. You could be any other type of native person, and we would welcome that. We want to learn that. We're still learning. Antoine said that he learned dance. We had Alice Lopez. She had come down. She's no longer with us, but she was one of the first people to teach us song and singing. And we used to gather together down at Bars Bay Park, and we would sing, and she would teach us traditional song. There's been a drum donated to us. We would have loved to have a male. It's for males. It's not for women to drum. So we would like to get, you know, some men who are interested in drumming to learn how to use the drum. Because when we have powwow, which is every other year, we bring down drums. So usually we have about 2 drums, because to have the powwow with just 1 drum, that's a lot of work for the singers who are drumming at the same time. And also some of the drummers are also dancers. So we can't, it's exhausting. So it would be nice if we had our drum with drummers. And so that is something we are looking forward to as we move forward. Due to COVID, of course, things have come to a halt. So we were supposed to have a powwow this year, and we were supposed to have a powwow 2 years ago. So we haven't had a powwow in a really long time. So we missed the circle. We missed the gathering. We are planning something for next weekend, actually, and it's interesting the timing of the show when Chris gave us a call. But it's not a powwow. It is a libation ceremony, which is a part of our tradition of opening the powwow, and we want to honor our ancestors. We've had a lot of loss over the last, I want to say since we've been in the circle, but you know, COVID has increased that. But we have also lost committee members, and we want to recognize them as well. And also we lost Tall Oak in February, and he was the cornerstone of this happening for us. So we want to pay tribute to him as well. So we're offering the community a community libation ceremony, and it's going to happen next week on the 11th, which is a Saturday at 6:30 sharp in St. David's. It is a way that we are going to traditionally honor our loved ones. Yes, you may have had the funeral and people may have come by, but a libation ceremony is just keeping in touch with that, because they're always with us, right? Yeah. So we will have a fire, and we will gather to run in a circle, and each person will pay tribute to their loved one. So it could be recent, it could be your great-grandmother, it could be a great-great, however you wish to honor, whoever you wish to honor at that time, we will come together to honor that. And because I just felt it was time to, come together and do this, because, again, we've had too much loss. And it'll be a nice healing way to come together, because when we have the fire, we burn sage. There's some smudging that happens in the beginning, tobacco, water, libation, that happens. And then we put flowers in a wreath, and then we put it in the ocean. And there's some, traditional song that happens. Okay. But it was just time for a healing. That's all. That's what it's about.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, wow. How can the community kind of support the endurance of your culture, and how do you see it trending going into the future?
Well, some of our goals, actually, what we've been working with the Ministry of Education. They reached out to us. Actually, it was one of our goals anyway, but they did reach out to us. So, kind of a symbiotic relationship right there because it
Yes.
happened at the same time. So, we've been working with them to develop curriculum. We're starting right now with the young children, so that like preschool into say primary 1 2, and so it's about developing a way to teach them about native culture in Bermuda, for them to just to understand maybe some story or some cultural identity in terms of the planting of things for nourishment, identifying certain things like animals, fishing.
Yes.
You know, the things that were important to native culture and oral storytelling and what those things mean. So we're developing that now. Hopefully we'll get it done in time for the next school year. That's the goal. We're really pushing really hard for that. So that's one thing. The other thing, we came up with claim your heritage as our tagline. And it's, in my vision, is to help people understand that you're responsible for yourself. If you want to learn more about yourself, if it's not native culture, it's some culture, right? We didn't know Bermuda has no indigenous people. You came from somewhere, and this is only a part of me, but it's the part of me that I've embraced because of my mother's efforts.
Yes.
You know, so I would suggest that when we come out, we plan to have the libation ceremony. There's some socials. Natives have socials and gatherings as we come together. Sometimes we do it private, and sometimes they're public. So we might extend an invite for others to come, and it's a way of coming together. The last time we got together was just before COVID happened. We bought out a lot of the gifts and items and regalia that we've had over the years, and we had it on display. And it's a way, and we invited other people to come, and it was a way for them to learn about us and to commune, because we had food and we had music, and just a way to sort of talk and share with one another in a way that was a relaxed environment. And it wasn't about powwow. It was just us being ourselves. So it's something we want to get back to, but because of COVID, it's been hard to come together in that way. But we want to do that. In terms of, again, another initiative that we hope will happen. Well, not hope will happen. The government did reach out again, which is very nice. I don't want to tip their hand, but there will be a stamp issue this year.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that, because we will be featured on a stamp this year. And that's all I'm going to say, because I want them to roll that out.
I understand.
Very blessed to have that happen. We have taken part in sort of educational camps, like Riley, Bermuda had reached out to us. And so we've, gone to different, like Carter House, so that we can teach them different things about our heritage, and corn husk doll making, which is something our secretary does, which is Janet DeBraga. It's something she makes and teaches, and it's a native tradition, and it comes into Bermuda because of banana doll making, which Ronnie Shimo, who's also a trustee on our committee, that's something that she does. So it's symbiotic in that way, but teaching people how to make that, and young people as well. So it's trying to educate the young people and have them interested and have a little bit of knowledge about, what culture has been. And our dancers have performed at various events. I think Antoine could probably speak to some of the things he's done.
Yeah, I've danced at our powwows. I've danced away overseas, and where else have I danced?
I've done.
What else?
I'm sure there's been like community events that we've done, but I will say our relationship with Irvin Trott, he's the head of the Warwick Gumbays, that relationship, because of their interest and their connection with the tribes overseas, they have traveled a few times to go to powwows, and they've actually been invited this year they're going to a festival called the Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival, and it takes place June 20th to the 26th, and 8 members will be represented. They were invited to come because they want to see Bermuda culture, St. David's, Islander native culture in terms of the Gumbes and what they represent. And so we're very proud of them. They will be opening the show every night that the festival will be held. And so I think it's an honor to be able to be recognized that the culture has made its way, even though it's a blend of culture, African, West Indian, West Indian, African, native culture, but for them to want to embrace that and us to share that, I think we've come a long way, globally, so to speak.
Yeah, so we're gonna head to our first break, and when we come back, we'll kick right back into it. But thank you for sharing that.
Parking in the city all day while at work may be less expensive than you think. Parking at Bull's Head is the most economical way to park in the city, and you can save even more time by buying a monthly or annual pass. The regular rate for parking at Bull's Head is $1 per hour, up to a maximum of $5 for all-day parking. A monthly parking pass is $100 per month, or you can purchase an annual pass for $1,100. And with a parking pass, you'll breeze in and breeze out, saving you the time and trouble of paying at the booth and scanning your ticket at the exit barrier. You'll just swipe and go. Monthly parking permits are also available for other long-term city car parks, Cavendish, Elliott, Parleville, and King Street at varying rates. For more information or to apply for a parking permit, visit the city website cityofhamilton.bm or call 292-1234.
Hamilton, Bermuda at its best.
The Health Ministries Department of the Bermuda Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Church invites you to a free medical and lifestyle clinic on Sunday, June 5th at 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. at Penrose Wharf, St. George's. You'll see a medical doctor and dentist, taste healthy foods, learn gardening tips, listen to home remedy talk at 2 p.m., and so much more.
Can you be more energy efficient while reducing your monthly energy bill? Belco Energy Efficiency Tips will help you save the environment, save energy, and save money. Much of the energy consumed in water usage is due to heating. Consider water heaters, washing machines, dishwashers, pools, and hot tubs to be more water conscious. It can result in lower energy costs. For more information on being energy conscious, visit belco.bm or like us on Facebook.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gray Miners with your top stories to the hour, brought to you by Butterfield.
Take control of your Butterfield credit card by downloading the Butterfield Card Alerts app. Monitor your spending activity with real-time transaction alerts sent directly to your mobile device. And if your card is lost or stolen, use the app to turn the card off, preventing any further transactions from being processed. Download the app from the Apple Store or Google Play Store today. Customized credit card controls. This is banking by Butterfield. The Bank of N.T. Butterfield & Son Limited is licensed to conduct banking business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Lack of work experience is one of the top reasons for youth unemployment, according to Minister of Economy and Labor Jason Hayward. The news comes after the minister announced a new national youth employment strategy to prepare younger people for the 21st century workplace. The latest data suggests 18 and 26-year-olds have yet to secure full-time employment in Bermuda. The Ministry of Health received 9,343 test results, and 330 were positive for coronavirus. 96 of the new cases are classified as imported with a history of travel in the previous 14 days, and the additional 234 new cases are classified as either local transmission or under investigation. Additionally, there were 257 recoveries. And those were your top stories to the hour, brought to you by Butterfield.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
And welcome back. And I know that my co-host is on the line, but before I hand it over to him, I just have one more question. Just in regards to, the future of the committee, how do you see it enduring into the future generations?
Okay, thank you for the question. It's a really good question because, I mean, it's 20 years, right?
Yes.
20 years, I would say the committee was very large, because everyone was excited. It was new. And our current mission, as it was when we founded the committee as a charity, is to preserve, illustrate, exhibit, and promote the unique heritage of St. David's Island and other histories of native cultures in Bermuda. So again, we don't want to be the only story. We want more stories. So in terms of the future, what I see right now, yes, we are an aged committee. We need new blood. And it would be wonderful if people who know they have native heritage are curious and come or, give us a email or a shout out or connect with us on our socials and be, asked to maybe attend a meeting. And we'd be happy to hear whatever it is they wish to contribute. And in the future, what we'd like to see is a museum. One of our community members, a couple of our community members, that was one of the original premises of the committee, is to have a museum. But we've been invigorated by Erwin Trott, who also would like to sort of, with the Gumbays, try to create something of a museum, even if it's a temporary showing of all the things that we've gathered over the 20 years to showcase what we have, and so that we can teach others and that others can share with us, so to speak.
Yes.
So if people are interested in reaching out to us, like I said, we have social media. We are on Instagram or on Facebook. Our email address is saint.davids, INC, island, so inc@gmail.com.
Okay.
So send us an email, and we can send you a meeting schedule, and you'll be welcome to attend. So it is that is my hope for the future, to see it grow, because I think that's what the ancestors would want. I think that we must keep it going.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely. Okay. Well, thank you for that answer.
Thank
and Brother Famous, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
How you doing, Robert?
Man. How you doing? Good afternoon, Bermuda. Good afternoon, Brother Dawn.
Good day, sir.
Good afternoon, Miss Murphy.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Mr. Lugo.
Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
Distinguished.
Thank you all for coming on. One of the things that you said is very important is that for the young people who know or suspect that they might have native heritage, for them to learn about this. Because if you go back, I don't know, a generation or 2 generations ago, 40 years ago, Bermuda had a complex thing about identity. We have an identity crisis, right? If you had West Indian heritage, you were ashamed to say you were West Indian. If you had Portuguese heritage, you were ashamed to say you were Portuguese. Not everyone, but some, many. And if you had native heritage, St. David's Island heritage, some people were ashamed to say that. And over the last 20, 30 years, people have said, no, we're no longer going to be ashamed about this. We are going to accentuate our heritage. The Portuguese, the Azorians are doing it. The West Indians are doing it through the various organizations, and you all are doing it. So I want to thank you all for that, because for too long we've had this stigma about who we are. And people who know that they have whatever type of heritage have suppressed it. They don't want to learn about it. I'm Bermudian, like Bermudian is all encompassing. Is not. Each set, as you said, Ms. Murphy, we all came from somewhere, and some of us can have multiple parts of where we came from. And so for what your mom and others, Mr. Tucker and others have did, has helped those who have native heritage to be proud of who they are. So I personally just want to thank you for that to begin with, to start off by saying that.
Thank you.
I recall it may have been the last powwow, may have been. but a powwow, and there was a certain person who was dancing, and then there was a certain person who was storytelling. That is something that I've never seen before, and I saw the drum where the drum, Dwayne, isn't just one drum like a gombe drum where one person's beating that drum. It's a drum maybe about, I may be exaggerating here, 4 or 5 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
And there's multiple persons sitting around beating the drum all in harmony, which it only can happen if people are in one spirit, right? When you're beating, and Mr. Lugo could tell me more. Could you explain more about not so much the drum itself, but the work, multiple persons beating the same drum?
Well, basically, it's everybody's. Before they drum, they say a prayer. They put tobacco on the drum, and they want everybody is to sing together because one voice, one drum. The drum is round, just like the earth is round, the sun is round. So they sit around it and they sing and they give thanks through singing and drumming. That's pretty much majority of it right there.
They put a lot of their spirit into it. It really comes from their deep within. They do it because they're committed and they love it. I saw some messages recently from Justin, I think, who was thanking people for the opportunity to sing and play for them during I guess it may have been a social or a powwow that they may have had recently, but it's an honor for them, and it's an honor for us to listen, because they put so much into it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And Miss Murphy, you were someone was the storyteller. Can you tell us some of the stories, not the stories themselves, but the names of some of the stories that are being told at the powwow?
Well, the powwow, it's very structured, right? So when it begins, you have, as I said, we start the powwow with the libation ceremony, but the actual powwow itself, before the dancing, is the grand entry. And so there is respect that happens in certain parts of the powwow. So as the sort of MC for the powwow, I have to educate people throughout the powwow as things occur. So there's no picture taking during certain parts of the powwow, and particularly grand entry, and or the flag song that gives honors to the flags and the war veterans. People have to take their hats off. It's very structured. It's honor and tradition. Things that I love about it, because it's not swaying. It's timeless. Like it's just things that you respect. And we ask for respect along the way. I used to get really upset because people weren't listening sometimes.
Yes.
Maybe it was our sound system. I don't know. But it's because I really want people to honor what we're trying to do and what we're trying to teach, right? So then you have different songs. So it's explaining the different songs or the different dances. There's Eastern blanket dance. There's Eastern warrior dance. So with male and female dancing, there's dancing for couples. There's all and community. There's all different types of dances. So you explain them to the community, because some of them we allow people who are there to participate. So you educate them as we go along. And I think people enjoy the day because people are out, they bring their chairs, and we usually have vendors. It's a very festive experience, but at the same time, you're learning as you go. And I think it also cleanses your spirit and your soul, because the fire is going. Give thanks to AP, Anthony Painter. He usually does our fire, and it doesn't burn the ground at Lord's, because it's county down in St. Davis usually, and we don't want to burn up our field, but he does a really good job.
I'd be happy if you did.
What happened? Bay, he said?
Bayless Bay might be happy if you did.
That's another story. They can't talk to us right now.
Yeah, they really can, because it just lost the game the other day. Anyway, moving on. But I do think the powwows do help us before the start of a county series, because, hey, we're cleansing the land. We're bringing good energy into to the
Yeah,
space.
every little bit counts.
This is it. I love having the sage and just burning and smudging, because it really does help clear the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the tobacco, and sometimes we use cedar, Bermuda cedar as well, and it just feels good. Feels like good energy. But you're tired. I'm tired by the end of it, because it's usually 2 days of being in the sun generally and hosting the event. But at the same time, it's such good energy and a positive experience, I think, for the community and ourselves. So it'll be really great. You mentioned, Chris, how people say, I have some native heritage, and but they don't go anywhere else with it. And I get a lot of young people, usually cousins of mine. My daughter has a history project, and they have some, we have native, blood, and so can they come talk to you a little bit about, the committee? And that's where it ends usually. And I don't think their children have been to the powwow. So it would be really nice if we could get some curious-minded people to come out and learn and teach us at the same time. Because like I said, we had some natives come down and share with us. And whenever we have powwow, we usually try to get into the schools so that they can meet children and talk about them as well. So that there's a symbiotic relationship all the way every time. And I enjoy it. So hopefully we'll find people who want to share and be a part of it.
Yeah. So one of the things that, as a country, we're very, I think that we're at a very embryonic state of actually people accepting who they truly are, right? And as you're saying, if you have a friend or cousin, you say, "Oh, my child has found out that they have native heritage." Well, that's who you are. You know what I mean? And we should fully embrace that. We have, there's this event going on in another country right now that we're expected to fully embrace that. But that's not our heritage. That's somebody else's heritage. There's those who of that heritage fully embrace that. They're going all out for that, right? And we as whatever your heritage is, whether it's West Indian, whether it's Native American, whether it's Azorean or whatever it is, or some people have a combination of all the above. Fully embrace that. Don't be, our schools syllabus should be more information about that. I got a GC in history, but I know nothing about Native American heritage in Bermuda because it's not in our syllabus. But it's a large proportion of our population is of Native American heritage or has some Native American heritage. You know what I mean? So these are things that, as a country, whether it's the government or organizations such as yourself, and most importantly, as individuals, need to fully embrace and just go all out. One of the things that I think we have to go to a break right now, or when we come back, I'll make another comment.
We're featuring a range of remarkably effective household cleaning solutions made with ecologically sound ingredients and pleasing fragrances from Ecos, a company with over 50 years' experience producing plant-powered cleaning products. The founder was a veteran chemist in the cleaning products industry and started up Ecos as a response to the harsh chemicals he had routinely encountered. Try Ecos non-abrasive cream cleanser, vinegar window cleaner, and in spray bottles, Orange Plus and Parsley Plus cleaners, shower and floor cleaners, furniture polish, and stain and odor remover. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
The Health Ministries Department of the Bermuda Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Church invites you to a free medical and lifestyle clinic on Sunday, June 5th at 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. at Penrose Wharf, St. George's. You'll see a medical doctor and dentist, taste healthy foods, learn gardening tips, listen to home remedy talk at 2 p.m., and so much more. Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
And we're back. Go ahead, Famous.
Yes. When I was at that last powwow, there was a number of persons who came from overseas to participate. So my question is, what is their feeling when they're participating in the powwow, when they're amongst you all in St. David's?
Well, they like this. They say that they feel like they're home as well. Like they feel like we are the family, and we treat them well with respect and love, and they love that, and they look at the similarities of the fishing net. I don't know if you guys know about mullet fishing and catching jacks and all that. It's pretty popular in the East, throughout Bermuda really. But that same knot that is used in that net, it's the same knot that the Native Americans used to make this net, and that's another fun fact. But I would say that they feel enlightened to be here and to be reconnected with the Lord's family.
Okay. Great. So when I was there last time, I think it was a few persons there that was Princess and so I forgot the last name, but they were I don't know if there was a contest in North America, but they were saying this person had won such and such contest or the other.
Yes. So Powwow Princesses is a contest that, yes, we've had them come down usually from. Well, no, we did have one from the Shinnecock. I forget, what's her name?
Autumn.
Yes. Beautiful young lady. She came down. We've had a few Powwow Princesses come down and participate. Usually they're sponsored, or we pay for their plane ticket and accommodation, depending on where we are and where they are in terms of what their council or community are doing, because they might win the trip to come, or we sponsor them to come. Sassaman is another. I think she was the first that we may have had.
She was Miss Pequot, I believe. Pequot, Powwow Princess.
Yes. So, and they dance when they're there. So depending on what, like they have a jingle dress, and so they do different dances that they are skilled at when they're performing or competing to for the title that they're in. So yes, we do have during powwow in the U.S. they have various contests. Like Antoine said, he's won a few different types. So we would like to see when we have our next powwow a contest of our own. So when they come, hopefully we can have a more vibrant. Not to say it's not vibrant now, but just have more competition, I think. And hopefully have more dances, because we're planning to fundraise this year. This is a big fundraising year for us, 20 years. And we're looking forward to that. And so when we come back, we want to come back bolder. That's how I look at it. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What are some of in Bermuda at least, what are some of the common surnames associated with Native Islanders?
You got the Marners family. You had the Marners family, and then you got Lamb, Fox, Virgo, and then you got I would say King Philip's children was sent to Bermuda a long time ago, but we don't know what their last names are now. So
those are common names, but I'm sure there's many because again, so many people have native blood, but we don't know where they're from, right? So. A lot of people just assume because you're from St. David's that you would, but at the same time, it's hard because it's been years since the first natives came here, and there was about 80 of them that came from the original ship that came from after King Philip's War. So it could be a plethora of Hollises, Marnerses, Fox, Burchells, Lambs, Pitchers. So yes, there's quite a few people, but that I'm sure is not the only names. And again, I don't want to disrespect anyone that I came on the radio and I forgot a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
And I really don't want to do that because we have committee members. Nevis Felice, she's one of them. She was a past chairman. She has Native heritage. Stephen Tucker, Brinky Tucker, their last name is Tucker, right? I'm just trying to think of who some of our committee members are. And then, so their last names are different. And so I don't want to exclude anybody. So your question, yes, St. David's, but we're island-wide. And it could be anyone at this point. And I don't want to alienate anybody who wants to come forward and say, well, my name is Smith. And I'm a native. And I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I didn't mean it in that manner. So my apologies if it was received in that manner. The thing is that I had a moment to speak to Stephen Tucker a few years ago, and he had said that at one point there was I want to say there's a and it had shown where a significant portion of Bermudians had Native American bloodlines, right? And these are persons who had no idea that that their family, their ancestors from Native America. So as you said, the names could be so many different names. It could be any given name, and you got Native blood.
Yeah, so I know some people there are a lot of DNA tests out there now, but the DNA tests that I know of, they won't show you what type of native you are. Like, cause it's not gonna say, oh, you're a Pequot or oh, you're Wampanoag, or it's not gonna do that. It'll just show that you have some native blood. And then, but there are, of course, DNA packages that like African ancestry, right? You can really pinpoint who you are. My dad says I'm Nigerian.
Bang.
So hey, I appreciate that.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of Nigerians were taken to Haiti. That's another story because I have some Haitian blood in me.
Yes.
But I enjoy knowing where I've come from. I enjoy knowing who my people are and that story, and so I get to carry that forward and that story forward for my family. So I hope that I appeal to people who are curious and want to know more. Perhaps you can come and maybe we can help educate each other so that we can help you find your path, right?
Definitely.
All right, thank you. Any closing remarks, Mr. Lugo?
Thank you for having us on your show. We're happy to be here, and reach out to us to connect so we can get to know each other and grow the community as well as.
Sorry, his stretching his words because I want him to talk about the event that we're having next week. Because I want to reiterate, we are having a community libation ceremony on June 11th. That's a Saturday at 6:30 p.m. For anyone who wishes to honor their ancestor, recent or past, very past, just to be part of a cultural experience and honor them in a way that speaks to you. And so we're welcoming you. We want you to come. It's a free event. How about that?
Where and what time?
At St. David's Cricket Club. Actually, it's not going to be on the field where the powwow has been in the past. So if you've been to our powwow, don't take that picture out of your mind. We're actually going to be up on the hill, on the hillside. And closer to like where the cricket players tend to jump off of Red Hill after they win the game. You know, Connie, when we jump off. Yeah. There. So it's going to be up on the hillside. And it's at 6:30 sharp. And just come with an open mind. And we'll welcome you and educate you and just embrace you. And as hopefully this experience will allow you to heal if you need that. That's what I would welcome you to come. So it's next week, Saturday, 6:30 sharp, St. David's Cricket Club at Lord's.
Okay. Any shout out to anyone on your committee? Any ones on your committee?
First, let me say I have a great committee. I appreciate each and every one of them. Janet DeBrega is my secretary. I have Stephen Tucker as my vice chair. I have Anthony Painter as my treasurer. My brother, Antoine Lugo, is my assistant treasurer. And I have other committee members who work just as hard. And I don't want to miss anyone out, but I will say from the last meeting, my Uncle Harold Millett, Mr. Brinky Tucker, and Erwin Trott, just off the top of my head of who attended the last meeting. So if I've missed anyone out, please, please, please forgive me. And don't judge my head. Don't judge. Just know that I appreciate you from my heart. And I welcome and I hope to see new people as we have this event next week. So look out for the flyer.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on and educating the whole of Bermuda about St. David's Islanders and your native community and what you all are doing to not only enhance your own heritage but educate us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Any closing remarks to me on this topic?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, guys, and I appreciate the time you've taken. I know that you probably have busy schedules and lives you have to live, so thank you for taking a bit of time to educate us, and hopefully you get that new blood you're looking for, and that you endure for another 20, 40, hopefully 60 years.
Thank you.
Have a good one, okay?
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to go to our final break, and then we'll come back to
Are
finish
you
up.
trying to control your weight? Keeping track of your glucose levels can help you get to a healthy weight. Freestyle Libre helps you to meet your goals by monitoring your glucose levels at any time. Try it. You can find it at the Bermuda Diabetes Association, located on 22 Princess Street in Hamilton, or you can give them a call at 297-8427.
Looking for savings when you ship to Bermuda? Look no further than Zipex. Our customers don't pay any sales tax at checkout when shipping to our Zipex Delaware address. Save on all the things you love and enjoy island-wide delivery to your door. Or pick up from our convenient Zipex Collection Center at 15 Gorham Road, located between Oleander Cycles and Lobster Pod. Zipex customers can collect packages from Monday to Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. or Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. To sign up for your free Zipex account, visit zipex.bm/signup. Shop, ship, and save with Zipex.
We're featuring a range of remarkably effective household cleaning solutions made with ecologically sound ingredients and pleasing fragrances from Ecos, a company with over 50 years' experience producing plant-powered cleaning products. The founder was a veteran chemist in the cleaning products industry and started up Ecos as a response to the harsh chemicals he had routinely encountered. Try Ecos non-abrasive cream cleanser, vinegar window cleaner, and in spray bottles, Orange Plus and Parsley Plus cleaners, shower and floor cleaners, furniture polish, and stain and odor remover. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
The Health Ministries Department of the Bermuda Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Church invites you to a free medical and lifestyle clinic on Sunday, June 5th at 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. at Penrose Wharf, St. George's. You'll see a medical doctor and dentist, taste healthy foods, learn gardening tips, listen to home remedy talk at 2 p.m., and so much more.
Hello, everybody. Bruce the Beverage Man here with a reminder to stay safe and tune in to Power 95 every Wednesday at 8:20 a.m. That's when I'll be talking to Miss Thang. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be somewhere near you giving out free Welch's Juices and the Wednesday edition of the Royal Gazette. Every Wednesday is Welch's Wednesday right here on Power 95.
Hi, this is Pat Trott. We invite you to join me Tuesday mornings on Power 95 at 8:15 for the Travel Edge weekly travel talk show. The same experienced team of travel professionals, same phone number and location at 35 Church Street, Hamilton. We look forward to being of service to you as you live your travel dreams.
Now back to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson. All right, Chris. Dwayne just stepped up for a couple of minutes. Go ahead, sir. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Dawn, we have to take a few moments to pay tribute to, I would say, Sir DeCosta. He passed away recently. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Most of Bermuda, I would say all of Bermuda, used to listen to Everest DeCosta on the radio, where he would have interesting guests, politicians, business leaders, community leaders. And he was always somebody who, he didn't show any political lean in one way or the other, but he always was armed with facts. I mean, this the gentleman was like a living library. If you called up with something, he'd be like, nah, get your facts straight. Let me tell you exactly what happened. And he could quote, even this was before Google and all of that. So one of the things that I, as a politician or just as a Bermudian, is that I really appreciated what he did. He brought to the public in Bermuda in the sense to say that, yes, we're going to talk about politics, but we're going to talk with facts, right? We are going to educate you. We're not going to just be here being the talking piece for one side or the other. And I remember one time, gentlemen, they called him Stormin' Norman. We used to call in, and he's like, listen, Norman, let me set you straight, bro. Let me set you straight. This is what this is. And he read it out. So, I just think Bermuda has lost a great man with Everest DeCosta passing. But you would have known him a lot longer than I have.
Okay, Dwayne's back. Go ahead.
No, I was saying you could, you would have more memories of Mr. DeCosta than I would, but
yeah, like I said, I met Everest when we came up here back in the mid '80s. So I've been knowing Everest for quite a long time, and I always liked his style of music, particularly when it came to old school music. Well, he taught me something in that old school is like 20 years. 20 to 25 years. Any songs that's been out for 35 plus, he used to call it solid gold. So that's the difference in time. But yeah, Everest was always, like you said, very knowledgeable on politics, world events. He just knew it all. It seemed like he knew, like you said, he had his facts straight.
Yeah, the last time I saw him was maybe 2 months ago down at A1 grocery store down Collector's Hill, and didn't get a chance to. I think we spoke like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, partner,
Yeah, I see him from time to time on the road driving still. So yeah, he was still up and about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a loss to Bermuda. But how you doing, Dwayne?
Hey, I'm good, brother. How about you?
I'm cool. You enjoyed your birthday?
I did. I definitely am not one to have like celebrations and stuff, but it was a great surprise.
All right. You enjoyed your Bermuda Day?
Yeah, my boy's first one. Yeah, boy. Yeah, usually I tell people it's my birthday weekend that they're celebrating, technically. You know what I mean? Because we moved it to the, so now it's right after my birthday. We'll be celebrating. So.
There you go. Chime in.
Okay. Yeah. So next week's show, before we close out, next week's show is we're going to be having as our guest the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly in Turks and Caicos Island, His Honorable John J. Malcolm, who actually is family comes from Bermuda. Was maybe a few hundred years ago, but his family originally comes from Bermuda, as with most of the people in Turks and Caicos Island. So he'll be coming on talking about some of the connections between Bermuda and Turks and Caicos Island, and also be talking about some of the recent happenings in Turks and Caicos Island and other parts of the region. So this is yet another part of our heritage that enough of us don't know about. So
agreed.
That's next week's show. There's a lot of Robinsons down there too, see, Dwayne?
Yeah, I heard. Hey, listen, my nana was very proud of that. Now, I haven't traced it yet, but I'm going to look into it.
All right. Well, anyway, that's it for this week. You want to close us out, Dwayne? Thank you, Brother Dawn. Thank you to the people of Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, much appreciated. Thanks for joining us, and we will be adjourned until next week, Thursday, the 9th.
And you have been listening to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson.
You're locked to Power 95, Bermuda's big station, at 94.9 FM, a Bermuda Broadcasting Company station.